All right, and good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Senpai Kouhai Podcast. Originally the Country Fried Otaku, but with a change of heart and a change of name, we're back. This is Trey, joined by Steven. Steven, how's it going?
It's going pretty good. Just kind of holding down the fort like I usually am. Been enjoying some nerdy stuff lately. I just got off of a long overnight stint at work, and now it's time to play catch up.
I'm glad you're enjoying nerdy stuff because I've actually taken a vow of chastity. I am no longer doing nerdy stuff, so this is going to be a very short episode. I'm sorry.
You're a liar. I know how much hentai you watch.
You got me. You got me. Well, I guess we can go ahead and get into the nerdy stuff.
Absolutely, because I know you got a full plate. They just had a Dragon Quest 35th anniversary, stream and announced like a million things. So what I know you're just chomping at the bit to get into that. So let's go with it.
God, there's nothing I dream about at night except for that 35th anniversary announcement. they got the Dragon Quest 12 or announcement that it's in production.
Mm-hmm.
They've got the Dragon Quest monsters with Eric and his sister from Dragon Quest 11. So a spin-off from 11. That's always welcome.
DQ Treasures, I believe it's called.
Treasures. Yeah. And they've got Dragon Quest 10 offline, which is hopefully coming to the West. I don't think it's been confirmed, but I'm hoping it will be. I feel like there's and Dragon Quest 3, 2D, HD, Polygon.
It's a Dragon Octopath Traveler Quest.
I like that a whole lot more. That's a lot less suffixes. That's nice. I like that. Dragon Quest Octopath. That's cool.
It's just, these committees that get together in Japan for whenever they're making something, and their code names are just off the wall. Like, if you ever want to see that, look at the credits of anime, and you'll usually find, like, some kind of weird-ass name committee. Yeah. And, I mean, there's some that are on the nose, but there are also some ones where you're like, okay, I guess that makes sense.
I feel like that has to be really, really easy on the resumes. Like, oh yeah, I was on the Attack on Titan committee, the Monster Musume committee. I was also on the Teletubbies committee.
That is a very wide resume. That is a very skilled and just expansive resume.
You can be impressed if you'd like, and also hire me at any rate because I take anything.
Oh man, well, I mean, Crunchyroll is involved in all that now. I think Netflix has, commanders and committees and things like that. That's why they keep getting series that they take forever to release, and everybody just bootlegs off of the Japanese broadcast anyways, but whatever.
Yeah. Stuff they have no business taking. Oh, Netflix. Actually, I think the only thing that Netflix has that I'm interested anime-wise is the Resident Evil CG.
Really?
That's it. Everything else that comes out just looks like shit, except for this Resident Evil thing. And that's, I don't know.
Well, look, they have Little Witch Academia, which is the only Trigger anime that has not got a... Oh, no, I'd be wrong, because Brand New Animal, the other one that Netflix has, also has not gotten an actual Blu-ray or DVD release, which is garbage.
I forgot about both of those being on there exclusively. That's insane. I can't believe Little Witch Academia hasn't.
It's been years at this point.
Yeah, that's kind of old at this point.
It's wild how much we really are missing out on some Trigger home releases. But, I definitely... I'm not salty about it at all.
I don't know. You taste it. All right. So, I wanted to do a little segment with you, just as kind of a little giggles. And I want you to play Whose Theme Is This? And I'm going to give you the title of a theme, and I want you to match it to the anime you think it goes to. And now,
I'm terrible at this game, especially because you're going to play a theme to a modern anime, and my old ass is going to be like, that's not Potamayo or freaking El Hazard, The Magnificent World. What the hell?
No, most of these they're not going to be obscure. They're going to be popular ones. So I'm going to give you the name of the song. Okay. They're going to be easy, I believe. Okay. So the first one, Gurren no Yumiya by Linked Horizon.
Linked Horizon?
Mm-hmm. They're very popular for being attached to one specific anime. No? No?
I'm going to make a guess, and it's going to be obscure, and you're going to be disappointed.
Let me hear it. Let me hear it.
I was going to say Log Horizon.
Oh,
Because a lot of times the bands have similar names to some of the series they're doing. Like actually bands will change their name slightly sometimes to kind of match up with the anime they're working with.
yeah.
I mean, I've seen that in a few cases, not always the case, but
So
I bet it's. Come on, tell me what it is. It's something I don't know.
it's Attack on Titan.
I knew it was Attack on Titan. Fuck, I should have said it. I should have said it just because I never watched the anime. I watched 2 episodes.
That's the hypest part.
I know
The show is pretty hype, but it's hype.
I've heard the theme's pretty good. I've heard it before myself, and it is pretty intense. Kind of gives me the same vibe as like the Black Lagoon opening.
Ooh, I haven't seen the Black Lagoon opening or Black Lagoon.
You should watch Black Lagoon. Black Lagoon is really good.
Yeah,
it's dark, definitely dark, but it's good.
I like that. So I thought about playing these for you, and then I thought about singing them just to make it worse. But I have a sleeping baby in the house.
Yes,
and I don't think I need to be doing that.
Yeah, all the cats that would just join in would definitely wake your baby up.
The toms that would just hop in with their banjos. Next up is Cruel Angel's Thesis by Yoko Takahashi.
Neon Genesis Evangelion.
There we go. That's the easy ones.
That is super easy. But also, better song on that soundtrack is Fly Me to the Moon. So,
like there's a rendition of the Sinatra song?
Yeah. It's like their own little version of it that they did as the closing song. But here's a fun fact about Cruel Angel's Thesis. The woman who composed that literally forgot that she composed it. It's been so long because she just did it as a job. She's been collecting royalties on that bitch for years. And just like they did an interview with her and she just seemed to be like, oh yeah, I did that job. Like she's not some like severe fan of it or like super proud of it. She's just like, yeah, that was a job I did.
Okay. I wouldn't either. I'd be like, oh yeah, I watched that. But that's my own feelings.
Yes.
So next up is Smile Bomb by Matsuko Mawatari.
Smile Bomb.
I'll give you a hint.
Okay.
Classic shonen involves snooping around in the paranormal.
Snooping around in the paranormal. Man, this is going to be really obvious when you actually say it to me. Snooping around in the paranormal. Good Lord. Why is that no.
Think 90s.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Snoop.
Think guns, swords, roses, demons.
Okay, so now I'm just thinking of Revolutionary Girl Utena, but no, that's not it. I know it isn't.
Yu Yu Hakusho.
Snooping around. It's like, oh, come on, you could have just said Dark Tournament, and I just would have been like, oh, there it is.
That'd have been too easy. That's the
Look, Yu Yu Hakusho stopped being about a spirit detective like maybe 18 episodes in, and then it was just tournament after tournament after tournament until the end. That's what it felt like, at least. I mean, it was like, if it wasn't a tournament, then it was like a tournament-like structure where there was a set of bad guys, and like I really feel like Fairy Tail suffered from that syndrome too. It was like, oh, there's a dark guild, and everybody gets their turn to fight, and then the next story arc is like, oh, look, it's another dark guild, and everybody gets their turn to fight.
If you say I don't know anything about Fairy Tail, but you're pretty much right about Yu Yu Hakusho. They really did lose that.
They just went straight into battle. They went straight battle anime after a certain period, because I liked the storyline of like a spirit detective, and he got to come back to his girlfriend, you know, Keiko, and like I kind of like the interaction of that. But then it just became a like constant battle kind of anime, and the problem is I can't binge that kind of thing. Like it makes sense if you were watching it week to week, but if you were watching 20 episodes of Yu Yu Hakusho, Dragon Ball Z, it's hard to sit there for 10 hours and watch people fight.
Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah. I mean, when I was 12 and 13, I probably was super stoked about it. So
I was mixing that with Batman when Nolan was born, and
so good.
It was easy for me to kind of keep it fresh with those two. There was a lot of detective going on there, sort of. Well, Batman was really carrying the detective there.
Yeah, well, I mean, that animated series is such a masterwork. And honestly, if you could split those episodes in between some of like the battle stuff with like any Dragon Ball Z or Yu Yu Hakusho, I can see how you can make it to the show. Absolutely.
The
What
last
else you
song
got? Oh boy.
is "Go" by Flo, and I don't think you're gonna get that one. It's Naruto Shippuden.
No, I know that's Naruto Shippuden. I actually have an album by Flo because of that song.
It's the best.
Like I have from Bleach, they had a song called Asterisk. There's a band called Orange Range, and that band is actually really effing good. And you should listen to their albums if you get the chance. Like kind of like you discovered Beat Crusaders from Beck Mongolian Chop Squad.
Yeah,
and fantastic group. Beat Crusaders, Orange Range, Flo. God, what was I think Flo had a song on Air Gear as well that I was really into. And that might be a different band altogether.
Oh, jeez.
But yeah, I remember that song specifically because it's actually a side view. They're all running and everything. It was actually like one of the first Shippuden themes that came out, and I was like, "This is a jam, man!"
It was the very first OP for Shippuden. That's why I looked up Naruto Shippuden first OP. So like that shit went hard. Hang on, let me find that one real quick.
Good Lord. I like the quizzes. I really do. That is a lot of fun. It's a fun segment we did. And I clearly am definitely a little rusty. I used to play
something a little bit easier to connect dots with.
Absolutely. Your descriptions are kind of generic. So it was like, what's happening right now?
This one's an isekai. Okay. So we're going to work with that. But apart from that, let's get
isekai?
Isekai, just random isekai. What's the name?
I died and got reborn as a vending machine.
Ooh, I think I've heard of that one. I've heard
that is a real isekai. I just didn't know if you had heard of it. Yeah, it was so bizarre.
I think my brother showed me that one. It looked funny, but he's a big fan of the isekais. So anime. What are you watching?
Ooh, okay. So I'm watching Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro, which is... So I read the manga first, and I was really excited whenever they got the anime. You may have noticed that I used all caps in the anime manga channel in our Discord.
Yeah.
And so I was really pumped for it. But the thing is a lot of what's kind of charming about that show is in like facial expressions and kind of the details that they have in the art. And I was really worried it was going to get like a slapdash adaptation from like a cheap studio, and it is not. It does a really great job getting the details in. The only downside is that I forgot that at the beginning of the series, man, the general gist is this girl starts bullying this kind of like nerdy artist senpai, and this is definitely in that genre of Senpai Kouhai annoys the respective other party, but they clearly like them or something like that, and it's just hijinks ensue. This one, and she goes to his art room and basically harasses him and kind of picks on him, but clearly likes him. And it's just like little short stories each time. It started to develop a plot in the manga, but I think that's in like volume 9. Up until then, it's just a lot of like segments of funny activities. My only issue is I forgot at the beginning of the series, when she first starts picking on him, it's actually pretty mean-spirited. Like she makes him cry. And I was like, oof. But then like the rest of the series, she's like super cute about it. Like she's like, oh, you're gross, and he'll accidentally like touch her arm or her leg or something, and she'll like blush and run away or some shit like that, or call him pervy, and like it's really like not mean-spirited. It's just like she's being goofy.
Yeah.
But the first episode is just like, oof, you're being mean. But it changes real quick, and I like the storyline. It's funny, and the art is really good. And it's up to episode 9 now. I definitely recommend it.
That's one I've seen a lot of art for, and it's looked like it's really wholesome and cute. And so I've wanted to watch that. I think I have it on my queue somewhere. High Dive.
Yeah, it's a nice kind of palate cleanser after something kind of dense. Like I said, like if you were watching something really dark or complex kind of drama type stuff, like I always had to watch something like that after I watched like Blood Blockade Battlefront, which is a show that goes so fast and has so many characters that it is really hard to keep up with. Just watch the first episode and try to follow the subtitles. It is a challenge.
That
So
sounds intense, but just
yeah,
blood blockade battlefront. I like that.
yeah. It is a bizarre and wild show, and it'll be up your alley. It's just
Yeah.
like things fly by fast, 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 and so I had to stop a couple times to be like, hold on, let's rewind that a bit. Okay, what?
Missed something important.
Yes, I mean, it's kind of fun. But yeah, Don't Totally Me Miss Nagatoro is honestly like a really kind of breezy show and has a few funny moments and like it's definitely not reinventing the wheel or anything like that, but it is a good enjoyable show to kind of just sit back and watch and enjoy.
Yeah.
It's not nearly as hyperactive as Uzaki-chan from last season,
Okay.
but I definitely like it, and also Nagatoro is adorable.
Yeah. Is that all you're watching? You're just watching anime?
No, I have more. I was just going to give you a chance to say something of your own.
Okay.
I will talk.
We can do that. So me and my wife are watching Fruits Basket, the final season. We binged the first 2 seasons. My wife has been a fan of the Fruits Basket series for a while, and she found out that they were redoing the series. So we started it, and I'd never seen it before, or I didn't really understand what it was. So I started it and got hooked on it with her, and this has been a pretty climactic season so far. I think we're on episode 9 right now, and it was good. It was intense.
Yes,
Shit, I love it.
So Fruit Baskets was one of those series that got a lot of traction because it was readily available in libraries. Like it was back in the day, the manga was published, I believe by Tokyo Pop at the time, and they were pushing to have manga in libraries really hard. So Fruits Basket was a really accessible manga to people early on. And the thing is, a lot of people didn't. There's actually an anime series before this one that only animated like half of the storyline at the time because it wasn't done yet.
Mm-hmm.
And so the ending for the original anime that came out, which that anime was like 24 episodes, 26 episodes long, so it was still a lengthy show. Yeah. But the ending was completely different, and it's good in its own way. So there was definitely some hinky animation in that. Like there's definitely like some eyes too close to the mouth kind of thing going on. It's 90s anime. It's early 2000s anime. I forget which one, but it's still really good. I like it. But they did a great job and brought back a lot of the people for the voice acting and things. They also are finally animating the second half of the story, and apparently it gets pretty intense from what I understand. I'm waiting until it's over to watch it, like I am on Attack on Titan. So, yeah.
I thought I was waiting until it was over, but I binged all the way up to season 4, part 1, and I thought they were finishing all in one go. And then when I finished it, I saw the notice, and it was like, "Oh, we'll see you in holiday winter 2022." And I was like, "Damn it!"
Got you.
Season 4, part 2, and I should have known because everything's been split up into season part 1, part 2, and I should have seen it coming. But alas.
Fun fact about the author of Attack on Titan: he just got a Guinness World Record for the largest manga created because they created that giant Volume 1 of Attack on Titan.
I saw that. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
That's wild.
It's
massive. Like they show a picture of somebody laying on the ground, and the book is open next to them, and like, I mean, the woman's like probably like 5'7" or 8" or something like that, and it's like the same length that she is, and it's like, wow, that's crazy. Okay, so you guys are watching Fruits Basket. So I'm about to talk about something I love to talk about, and this is something I've been waiting since the last time we were recording podcast. I am watching Welcome to Demon School Iruma-kun season 2.
Ooh,
I am about to gush because I love this show. Yeah, no, this show has everything I love. It has a compelling world. The animation style is older style, so it's really colorful and kind of has a different shape than a lot of like the moe stuff and some of the sharp edges of like the action. So I really like it. It reminds me of actually kind of like 80s and 90s manga. But I mean, coming off the first season, you spent a lot of time getting to know the main character and some of the stuff immediately around him, and developing the world and showing you basically how the demon world works. And and having fun with it. I mean, the humor in the show is great. Like and it's starting to develop a storyline, and it's actually expanding its cast now, and it never like every time you think it's going to be serious from this point on, it makes a joke. They just have a lot of fun with it. It's just they can't stop having fun with it. I mean, we're talking about this time around, Iruma in the most recent episodes, he actually goes through what they call an evil cycle. So demons actually they go through an evil cycle, kind of like, I guess, a demon menstrual cycle. I don't know. That's a terrible comparison. But they turn like extra evil for like a few weeks or a week or something like that, and so he gets turned on to his evil cycle, which he doesn't actually have because he's human. So it's this whole weird like spell thing, and he actually becomes like this like kind of like cunning, very like cool debonair version of himself, and he convinces his classmates are all part of the abnormal class, who are actually like really great people, to compete to get the former Demon King's classroom open for them to actually have as a class. And so they have to like go around and like challenge the teachers to get them to sign off on doing this. And it's really cool because that's how you learn about all the other abnormal characters in his class and their different demon bloodline abilities and how they use it to beat the teachers and solve problems. And it's really cool because now you clearly see that this whole class is supposed to be part of this story, and it's really shaping up where you're going to have an expanded cast. And I've read the manga, I keep up with all the stuff, and it gets really, really good. It's definitely not innovative in some of its like stuff. Like there are definitely like plot points you can kind of see coming a mile away if you've been a fan of anime or manga or storytelling for a long time. Like for instance, there's a character whose name backwards is obviously somebody else. So it's like, okay. Anybody that's played Castlevania Symphony of the Night pretty much is like, Alucard, I see what you did there. But I'm so excited about the show. It just keeps getting better. Like there's actually better storylines coming up, and I'm so pumped to see them animated. And this show pulls a move that I'm curious to see how it's going to work in the anime, because they did it in the manga and I was blown away. There is a character that is introduced at some point in the story that disappears completely, and they bring them back, and they pull basically like a Futurama, if you will, where it's like, okay, so you don't get that reference?
No, I don't.
So I can just explain it this way, real quick. In Futurama, there's Nibbler, the weird little alien guy. He shows up and he seems dumb. Well, there's an episode where it turns out Nibbler is actually an alien, and Fry is so dumb that these evil invasion of brains, and it turns out that Nibbler was the one that actually pushed him into the little freezing pod, and it actually shows him like pushing the chair back in the first episode. But if you go back to the first episode and look at the actual animation from the very first season's very first episode, there's actually a shadow of that character, and it was hiding there for like 3 or 4 seasons.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was a really cool, fun thing. And they do something sort of similar to this in Iruma-kun, and I'm looking forward to seeing it in anime form. God, I could just talk about this show all freaking night. I love it so much. Like I just want to tell you the whole plot, but no, you should go watch it. You should just go watch it. I have it
on my queue because you sold me on a couple funny scenes from the first season.
Yeah,
and it does look really nice. Like the anime style of it is pretty cool. Everyone looks like a Sailor Moon villain. They all look really neat.
Yes.
So I'm excited to get to it when it's done. I can get ready for it. Next up for me, I'm watching Inspector, which I think is one you've talked to me about.
Yes.
But I'm actually not enjoying it, I think.
Can you tell me why? Like, I'm curious if you came to the same conclusion I did.
Yeah, so I'm halfway through it right now. And they have spent so much time talking about things that are not relevant to the case. Mm-hmm. So the main girl, she is this fabled god to these yokai that are haunting the neighborhood, I guess, is what the lore we're going with here. And as she helps out all the neighborhood yokai, she's fallen in love with one of her classmates, or just this boy, at some point in time. And she stalked him for like 2 years, and eventually he broke up with his girlfriend, and she sees the opportunity to harass him into a relationship. And after they finally allowed it, she found out that he is some sort of monster demon himself.
Mm-hmm.
And while all this is happening, there's been a series of murders and hauntings from this uh, ghost.
Yeah, one of the things he did was consume mermaid flesh, which made him immortal. And yeah, it's so I get exactly what you're saying. Like he just constantly is harassed by this girl.
Yeah,
it is wild.
And they just it took like 2 or 3 episodes for them to finally stop talking about them getting together. And
Oh my
then finally old girl stops talking to all the other ghosts and finally gets to the point of, oh, we have a big bad we got to work on. And it's this idol that got killed who's haunting the neighborhood. And then the main dude, and his ex girlfriend now all have to work together. But they've all just been looking at this ghost as it just tears things up and fights the main guy, and they run away and they have to come back. And it's a lot of nothing. Like nothing progresses anywhere. And I don't know what I'm watching.
It has a really bad case of over exposition going on.
Yes.
There was I think it was a second episode where they're talking to the snake.
The snake, yeah, the water god.
It went on forever, and it was unimportant. Like actually, I think I got confused halfway through because I kind of like started zoning out. I was like, wait, what are we discussing? What kind of conclusion or deal did we reach? I don't understand what's happening.
How did this progress the plot, and why is this pertinent to me? And it wasn't.
Well, and that's the thing. Is like if it's a show off like a battle, or if it's it doesn't connect to anything else in the series.
No.
Like, and the thing is, it seems like the story wants to start like doing episodic ghost things, but then it really only had 12 episodes. So they tried to do one episodic episode with the snake water god thing, and they were like, "All right, now we're going to start the big bad next episode." And this was pointless.
Yeah.
This was, and I don't know. Like I like the animation. I've read some of the manga, and I think it's paced a bit better.
The manga is paced a bit better. Mm-hmm. I'd see that. The only thing I do really enjoy is the ending theme and animation, where they're kind of like ballroom dancing. It's really pretty and it looks great. But that's about it. I enjoy ending the episodes because I'm done. But then they also get to dance. But
I love your straightforward nature. It makes me happy because like if you don't like something, you will not hide it, and that is great and refreshing when it comes to fandom. Because like I like I wish I could be just as straightforward as that, but I will hurt myself to finish a series. Like you'll be like, no, this isn't it, and you'll be like, done.
Yeah.
I'll be like, I started. I gotta finish.
I got a queue of 50 other animes to watch. I can't sit here and suffer. So,
see, I think that's my senpai mode going on because I still remember a time when anime was scarce and when you got some, like it was so valuable to you.
Yeah.
And now we live in a world where it's like, oh, I have Crunchyroll. I have 180 series that I can watch. And there's another platform that has other ones. Like it's just endless, I mean, I think there's even like a new retro anime streaming platform called Retro Crush.
Yes, but it doesn't have a lot on it. The last time I looked at it, but it didn't have much that looked good to me. I mean, maybe if you looked at it, the queue would look really good to you because you have more knowledge and everything. But I tried looking at it because I do like the aesthetic and everything of 90s and 80s anime, but none of it looked good to me. If I hadn't seen it,
it's probably some older stuff, like older licenses that some other companies have gotten. They probably got together and decided to make a streaming platform out of it. Look, I'm not gonna lie to you, I love old anime, and I can go back and enjoy it. But I'll be the first to admit, there's still a lot of trash. Yeah. There is some really bad stuff out there. Like that was the era of OVAs. Which original video animations or original animation videos, whoever you want to talk to says it differently. Mm-hmm. And so those committees I was talking about, like imagine this is like the anime like bubble period, and the bubble has not burst yet. So money is being thrown at people to make anime, and like just even like little 3-episode things, and they made all kinds of bizarre shit. like Angel Cop. Like it's this like sci-fi, like hyper violent, hyper sexualized kind of like short 3 episode adventure.
Hang on, what
God,
was
what
that
else?
called again? Angel
Uh,
Cop?
yeah, it's like
Okay, okay. All right.
this is like trash stuff, but like it's the kind of stuff you watch and you're like, I don't know what's happening, but it's still interesting. I like it's an experience. Like it's not one you'll go back and say like, oh, this is a classic masterpiece. I'm gonna watch this several times. No, it's one you watch and you go, what the fuck did I just watch?
Yeah.
I gotta tell some people, and I think all of that has its place in fandom, and just like it's worth it. Like, see, anime Igo, the company that they're a small company, and they basically do a lot of Kickstarters for older style series. Like Writing Bean is one of the ones I have. Otaku no Video. I just got Megazone 23 from them, and they're doing like really old like OVAs like that. I think the most recent one is actually this series called a series. I say series. It's a single episode. It's like called Maddox 01, and it's basically this automated mech suit that this guy gets into, and it takes off on its own and starts rampaging through Tokyo. So imagine like it's Tokyo and this like bumbling idiot gets into this mech suit and gets stuck, and then the people who created it have to get into like another suit and rescue him and stop the rampage. And that's all it is. It's just like this crazy like short-lived adventure, but like that stuff doesn't get licensed over here very often, and so this company brings it out. And I like those kinds of things. I like Writing Bean is something I can bring over to your house and show you in one night, and you're just like,
Yeah.
what is this? This is a great experience, but it's definitely not a reliving one. Sorry, I am long-winded this evening, so
All
I
good.
shouldn't
All
drink
good.
Red Bull.
You know what I need more of? I don't even know where it came from, but Cassette Girl. I don't even know
God,
where that came from, but
so
more of that.
that actually is an entry into I think it's Studio Kahara, the guys who left Gynex,
Okay.
like Hideaki Anno and them. They
Yeah,
formed
never
Studio
mind then. I
Kahara.
take it back. Take it back. Go ahead.
Basically, all the talent from Gynex, went 2 directions. They either went Studio Trigger or Studio Kahara, and Studio Kahara is where Anno is, if I recall correctly, last time I checked, and that's where they made the Evangelion movies. And what they did for a few years was they did an Animator Expo, and that's where you got the. Did you ever see the Me 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 video? It's
I don't
a
think so.
it's a music video. It was kind of popular for a little bit. It's really bizarre, but it has a really cool soundtrack and kind of like weird story about a breakup, and it's all turned into like video games and weird sensory overload shit. I'll have to find it and show it to you. But that was really popular like the first year, and then Cassette Girl was on another year. But basically, a bunch of the guys would just get together and make little short animations and submit them to this Animator Expo, and they'd show it online. I think they did it on Nico Nico, and so people could see it live streamed. All these like kind of unique animations that people make, and there's some stuff that's just like little short, like here's some text and some little characters moving, and then there's like very complex stuff like Cassette Girl. Cassette Girl always makes me laugh because it still shows that there is the guys who make who are in Gynex and all this stuff. They did some animations for a convention called Daikon in Japan, and that's where that girl with the sword flying on the sword comes from. And they did a reference to that in FLCL, and they did it in Cassette Girl, and I think it's in another show I've seen too. Like some of these guys have been around so long, they still revere that experience. So, and that's the thing is, I think Studio Kahara's Animator Expo is supposed to be kind of like a revival, not exactly of Daikon, but a similar experience.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, Cassette Girl's fucking legit though. I love that. I put that up and watch it on occasion because it's just
It's
got
so
that. It's got such style, and the music
Yeah.
is fantastic.
Yeah, it's insane. Um, let's see. Are you watching anything else, or is that a?
Oh yeah, absolutely watching. I think
Jesus.
I know. I'm watching like 10 things right now. I'm gonna
Okay.
stop after this last one because
Let's do one more. Yeah, one more.
Okay. So this one is actually in my collection. So I've made it a point. I have this huge shelf of collection, and I made it a point to start watching it from the beginning. And so I started out with A channel, odd channel, whatever you want to call it, which I pulled a U and I dropped about like 8 episodes out of 12. So it's kind of a success.
If it ain't worth it, don't do it.
Yep, and so I moved on to a personal favorite series of mine called Ai Yoriaushi, and I actually have watched this multiple times. This is a like early 2000s kind of like harem show, but it's not harem like in the kind of kooky hijinks way. So basically, it's about this guy Kaoru going to college and shit like that, and this girl who's in traditional kimono, like definitely like traditional. What was it? Is it Yamato and Nadeshiko kind of style, like that traditional Japanese beauty kind of thing. She shows up and basically, tries to move in with him and talks about how they're destined for marriage. Well, it turns out when they were kids, they were supposed to be betrothed. And what happens is, he gets disowned from his family, so that marriage stops being a thing. But she actually fell in love with him, like, and trained as a potential wife and all kinds of things like that. And she loves him so much, she just chases him down. And so they go through all that, and they end up living together in this big like mansion for the family because they're apparently going to figure it out. And then more characters, of course, female characters, turn up and join. They end up staying at the house too. This is a very common trope back in that period. Like Love Hina did it. I mean, that's still technically a trope nowadays. Like if you look at Yuna in the Curse of Hot Springs or whatever it is, that was another one where the guy ends up living in like a bathhouse with a bunch of women. But Ai Yoriaushi actually has like a really deep story about family ties and being disowned by your family and how like arranged marriages work with some harem hijinks along the way. It's really lighthearted outside of a few moments towards the beginning and then towards the end when they actually have to address the elephant in the room, which is like, wait, hold on, can we actually get married? Are we going to get married? That sort of thing. But it's a great show. It's really well animated. The characters are fun. The English cast is extremely good. It's not a kind of high stakes, like involved series. It's only 26 episodes for the original series, and then there was a sequel series, which is just more fun as the couple gets to flirt together and be cute together. It's really adorable. So it's like I think it's like 5 discs for the first season, and then 3 discs for the second season. I'm working my way through that. I think you can find it on one of the streaming platforms, but I got it like a long time ago when Pioneer used to release anime under the label Geneon. And I recommend that one heavily, and I'm enjoying watching it. I turn it on before I go to bed because I chill and watch anime before I fall asleep, or I'll play like a game before I fall asleep. But lately it's been Ai Yoriaushi. So I'm about 12 episodes in, and I still like it. I've watched it probably 4 or 5 times, and I thought I'd be bored of it or I'd hate it because it's harem and it'd be boring. But I have some kind of like subconscious connection to how much I like this series. I don't know.
So I have an anime I would normally play whenever I go to sleep, and it's God Eater, and it's it's only because of its like subdued colors, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like it's bright or anything like that. Everything is dark and nothing's flashy. It's just
they did a whole muted color thing with that adaptation of the video game, right?
Yeah.
And it was,
I don't even know if I really like the anime. Like I watched it before, but I just put it on to go to sleep one time, and I was like, I kept waking up to it, and I was like, yeah. Then I kept going back to sleep. It was a nice fill the room type coloring, and so that's my go to sleep anime. I
get that. If it wasn't for the fact that I always end up watching it, Your Name would be another one that I tend to think the muted colors would do that for you. But I just end up watching the movie, so
I don't want to with tears or a wet pillow. So
man, and the sad thing is there is sadder anime. Lord, is there a sadder anime?
A Silent Voice, I think, was probably worse than Your Name.
A Silent Voice was just hard to watch because it's an accurate portrayal of bullying. They don't pull any punches on that bad boy. But a sadder one is 5 centimeters per second, which is literally a movie, as far as I can tell, about people falling out of love. It's just really harsh.
I've tried to start that movie 2 or 3 times, and there's a little girl that talks in the beginning, and I don't even remember what she says, but the way she talks, like, pisses me off, and so I don't finish it.
Like, I hate this bitch so much, I'm turning it off.
But her voice is like so high pitched, I just can't do it. But I need to go through and finish it.
Oh my gosh.
I think I put it back on my list because I was like, that's not a good reason. I know
Oh,
this is a good movie.
there's also another movie that was more recent, called, I think it's called like The Tiger and the Goldfish, and
Mm,
it's about this guy that ends up helping a girl in a wheelchair, and yeah,
I
that
don't
is
think
a
I heard of that.
rough one. That is a rough one. Because my thing was that I was like, oh, this looks interesting. I like the art style, I like the character designs, and I was like, oh well, kind of what's the synopsis? I actually ended up kind of hitting like a little bit of spoiler territory on that, but I was like, oh well, I'll still watch it. And then I saw like the whole storyline, and I was like, no, I'm not gonna watch that. I don't feel like being sad, like actively
Yeah,
sad. So maybe if I get back into like, I guess like the stress level to allow me to watch sad things that are purposely sad. I mean, like, I guess they're supposed to have a point. Maybe, but I'm not in the zone. I need like fantasy. Take me somewhere else besides sad zone or stressed zone. I get off of work and I don't want to watch sad things and just sit in my dark room and cry at the end of it.
yeah. I'm gonna hit my last animation
Okay,
movies,
yeah,
and then we can hit our games. So
dude, I'm
I've
so
been
excited.
watching The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy
Oh
um,
my god.
in my in my spare time. While not an anime, it is animated, and that's just kind of been some comfort watching. I've been trying to go through old cartoons on HBO Max, and they've got Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy on there, and it's still funny, and that's what kills me. It's like I still like crack up laughing at the horrific drawings of these children and the scenarios, and it's still great. Um,
There, I missed the bus on that one. I might see because I like to look up cartoons and kind of watch them because
mhm.
even as an adult, there's some really great cartoons out there. I remember discovering Regular Show, and boy oh boy, for a show that it was on Cartoon Network when kids like actively be watching, like that's got a lot of adult humor in it. Have you ever watched that show?
I've seen like episodes of it,
Whew.
but I kind of lumped it in with Adventure Time and Steven Universe, and I was like, I don't think I want to
Mm,
watch something like that right now, so I didn't. But I've heard good things about it.
yeah, I like the earlier seasons are definitely where it's at because it's more episodic hijinks, and then they kind of have a semblance of a storyline towards the end of the seasons
Hmm.
because it's actually over now. But I'd say like the first like 3 or 4 seasons, if you just want to watch like silly, slightly adult humor hijinks, watch Regular Show from there.
Okay,
But Billy, so the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. So is this the one? It's just they end up hanging out with the Grim Reaper or something like that.
so th- they uh they have a gerbil or a hamster that's about to die, and the Grim Reaper comes to reap their hamster, and they're like, hey, you can't take this hamster, and he was like, well, why not? And so they make a bargain with him, and like, well, if we beat you at a game, then you can, or then you have to be our best friend, and if you beat us, then you could take the hamster. He's like, you know what? I could beat you at anything. I'm literally the Grim Reaper, so I'll do it. And so he tries to trick them, and he makes them play limbo, and he thinks just because he's all bones, he can go at any level. But they end up tricking him and sticking the gerbil on him and making him hit the stick. it's, it's insane.
What? I
It's
mean, I mean, this is great classic cartoon hijinks. Like, I love that story, but I like my face is just all kinds of ranges of like what is happening in this description.
It
But I
only
love it.
gets worse, and it's just crazy. They do all kinds of like pop culture tie-ins too. Like there's like a couple Harry Potter episodes, but his name's like Nigel Planter, and he goes to Toad Blatt's School of Sorcery, and and they
Nigel Planter.
and it's so funny, and I wish I could just. I could gush about Billy and Mandy all day, but I've been trying to pay attention to the guys who write each episode because
Mhm.
whenever the main guy that wrote the series is involved, the episodes are significantly funnier. And so whenever I see him throughout, like storyboarded by Maxwell Adams, directed by Maxwell Adams, and whenever I see that, I know I'm in for a better episode, and I'm excited. Like I'm all right. Here we go. Let's do this. And it's exciting.
Yeah, I love getting into that sort of thing because, like, a good cartoon, and especially like when you learn who can write it. Like, that's the thing is, like, when I was I did the same thing with the Batman the animated series when I was younger because I was like, I saw Bruce Timm on there, and so like later on, like when you'd see his name on something else, like even comic books, I'd be like, I want to read that.
Yeah,
like
when
because I think
Bruce
he
is
moved.
involved.
Yeah, like and I mean he brought together like such a great like voice cast. The fact that he basically brought back Mark Hamill's career with like voice acting. Like he talked Mark Hamill of Star Wars fame into voicing this insane clown, and he made it his voice. Like people love Mark Hamill's rendition of the Joker, and as a matter of fact, a lot of people try to emulate it, and it's kind of wild.
Yeah.
Speaking of animated Batman, I'll drop it pretty quick after this, but I've been kind of like watching some different clips and things on YouTube, and man, I forgot how funny Harley Quinn is. That show was so good.
It's cruel how funny it is to her. It is insane.
It is,
like, especially towards the latter bit. There's a section where her and Joker kind of actually split off, where she's done with him, and it's super funny after that point. Whenever she kind of does her own thing, but she has her moments where she shines, and it's great.
You have Alan Tudyk as Joker in that series, and I don't know if they just let him write the jokes for the Joker because he's hilarious.
Oh, you're talking about the Harley Quinn series?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant like in the Batman animated series.
Yeah, I can see where that got confusing, but no, I was that series, like they did 2 seasons. I wanted to bring it back. It's funny.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. The Harley Quinn series is super funny. It was great. And like I'm glad they didn't pull any punches on that. That was unadulterated fun.
Oh, absolutely. This is violent as hell too. Like I love was it King Shark?
King Shark's her whole rogues gallery of just bullshitters is amazing.
Yeah. I think it's funny because Alan Tudyk's been doing voices so long. I mean, he voices like multiple characters in the series. I think he voices Clayface, Joker, and like a couple other guys.
He probably voices Harley Quinn too. They say it's Haley Kuko, but it's probably Alan Tudyk.
And he probably just did the whole series by himself.
I'd believe it. I mean,
all right. So games. Where are you at on games? Because you have a good idea of where I'm at, and I'll talk about it a little bit. You're the wild card. Like last time I saw you playing a video game, you were streaming Fallout New Vegas.
I forgot I was streaming Fallout New Vegas. I got to get back to that at some point. I'm doing a villains run in Fallout New Vegas. I'm playing Fire Emblem 3 Houses. I'm at the halfway mark for that on my Switch. And I just started this week 7th Dragon 3 Code VFD.
Yes, so good.
I finally got through like the 2-hour tutorial so I can finally start playing.
Yes.
And it's pretty cool. I like it. It's not like most other little JRPGs I've played on my 2DS. So I'm excited.
Yes. So that is one of my favorite like kind of sleeper titles I discovered on the 3DS. Like it's got a lot of roots in traditional RPGs, but I love the style of it. I love the character designs. I mean, and just the thing is I'm a huge fan of the 7th Dragon series. Anyways, 7th Dragon. Let's see. Can I reach it? Hold on a second.
Go ahead. I'll talk. So it's got a really neat style where it's almost kind of comparable to The World Ends With You kind of characterization, but it's made by Sega. And I think so far only the 3rd one has been released in the United States. The first 2 have not, but I think Steven's about to pull something out of somewhere.
I actually love the design of that series of samurai so much. I actually got a figure of it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. You guys aren't going to be able to see this in the podcast, but I'm going to enjoy it for you. This is great.
I could probably post it on Twitter or something like that.
Yeah, put that on the Twitter.
Yeah, I will definitely have to do that. But yeah, I love the design, and I'm actually sad because they actually made a figure for pretty much every one of the classes. Yes, but they released them within like 3 months of each other, and these are not cheaply made figures. So I didn't have that kind of cash hanging around. So I went with the Samurai, which is my favorite design.
Yeah,
God Hand would be my second.
that's who I picked for my main character. Was the God Hand.
Yeah, that is a tough sell.
I think that's it. That's all I'm playing right now for myself. What are you juggling? Let's hear it.
I think I did tell you, but I am still finishing Persona 5 Royal, which I got to be honest with you, to a degree, like I'm finally going to get some time to play lengthy sessions, and I feel like I have to have lengthy sessions to enjoy Persona 5. Like, it's not something I could boot up for like 30 minutes and be like, all right, I got somewhere. No, like 30 minutes is like, okay, got in, I talked to some people, maybe I did a confidant thing. Okay, time's up.
Yeah.
But when you get 2 or 3, 4 hours to play, it's a lot of fun. Like, I mean, I could just waste time fusing personas and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. And I'm like, I'm out here min maxing my shit like some kind of like there's some stakes to this. But
yeah.
But I'm enjoying that a lot. I'm enjoying it at my own pace. Like you guys did it as the book club game, and I got far enough to at least have a little bit of the discussion. But I'm not in a rush now. I'm also playing, on top of that, the book club game for this season, which is Fire Emblem Three Houses. I'm like in chapter 2. I'm still in tutorial mode. Yeah. Essentially.
Yeah.
Like they're talking about, I think it's like gardening and fishing, and like I'm talking to like 1 million students.
Yeah, you're learning the school and the people. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's the thing is okay, so I know there's like a little bit of a social system from playing like Fire Emblem Awakening, which I'm also playing at nighttime when I'm not watching anime, because I apparently am a glutton for punishment. But that's the thing, is primarily like in Fire Emblem Awakening, it goes pretty quick into battles, and it's more about the overall story, and the social element is there, but they're not long-winded. Yeah. This feels like a straight up dating sim with tactical fights in between it.
That's all it is.
Like as far as I've encountered, and I'm sure, and it seems like the story is going to be interesting. There's a lot of like loose threads on the plot line, and I'm like, oh, I want to know what's going on here. Somebody doesn't really completely trust the religious leader, and there's all these different characters that have different personalities and backgrounds, and multiple countries that operate like a kind of like a democracy. One's a kingdom, one's like an empire. It's a whole. There's a lot there. There's a lot to unpack. But ultimately, I feel like I'm just trying to like get hearts in the corner at all times.
Who'd you pick for your school?
Black Eagles all the way.
Black Eagles. Okay, that's cool.
I could not resist the charm of Edelweiss. So
I was kind of not feeling it really the whole game up until this midpoint. And
really?
Yeah, I was really on the fence about it. I mean, I'm gonna finish it because it's our book club game. But once I got to the halfway point, shit turned up to 11, and wow. I'm invested all the way now.
Okay,
so
cool.
It starts escalating a little bit, and it is just a whole lot of talking, and I mean sometimes that's a turnoff for me. Sometimes it's not. It just
I mean, you made it through what was it? Tokyo Mirage Sessions.
Yeah.
F Sharp Dreams or whatever. I don't know the full name.
Yeah.
Peach Splash. But that, yeah. God, I still love that game. But yeah, I mean, like that game has a lot of talking in it. It's because you were posting pictures of different dialogue that was happening while you're playing, and some of them.
Yeah. Some of it was funny. That game was insane.
But yeah, so Fire Emblem. Okay, I mean, I'm planning to stick it out too. I'm going to try to finish this book club game before we're done with it.
Because you got to catch up before September.
Yes,
so that you can get ready for Atelier Riza.
Oh, I'm ready for that one. I actually have a notebook that I'm ready, so I can do all my combinations of alchemy.
Nice.
But this one, this one's what I'm excited about because there's not a time limit on it anymore. I think this one is actually just straight up story based and a straightforward adventure, and I like that because all the previous ones were like you have so many months or like a year, and each time you go out to gather ingredients and stuff like that, it was a day passed or stuff like that. And so you had a certain degree of a time limit on your gameplay, and it actually encouraged multiple playthroughs because if you ran out of time and you didn't get far enough along or create the right thing, there's entire parts of the story you would miss and
Mm-hmm.
you had to do a new game plus where you had stuff kind of you boosted, so you could go further in the story. And like I did that with 2 of the games, and I was like, gonna learn how to do this quicker. But yeah, I'm excited about that. But Fire Emblem Three Houses, its main focus, honestly, in terms of like what I'm trying to complete. Persona 5 is still in there. The last game is Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, and I know I'm doing the trifecta of torture because that game is all about side quests and just so much to manage. Like it reminds me of like a survival game mixed with an MMO, where there's
Yeah.
just so many items that you weed through and you collect and it's important. Like there's side quests where it's like the drop rate is like 2% on some of this stuff, and you just have to wander around the world and leave the
Yeah.
screen and then come back and check on it again. And
Like
I
some
think
of those side quests are really critical, so you can unlock like some really important skills or skill trees,
Mhm.
and it's really good. Like I know for mine, I got at least 3 or 4 extra skill trees for all my characters or
Yeah.
across my characters, and I mean it was well worth it. Now I got like 300 or 400 side quest in, and I still want to go back and do more, but I have to go back and finish the side quest. I gotta finish rebuilding the colony.
Mhm.
I got a lot of stuff to do, and I beat the game. I still got to finish the Beastopedia, I think, because
Oh
there's
yeah,
like
there's a
super
lot.
monsters. Yeah, super monsters I didn't beat.
And it blows me away because a lot of that content is just like in starting areas. Like I think I was
Yeah,
roaming around in like the starting area. And there's like this big gorilla that's like level 97 or
no,
some shit like that.
yeah, that
And
guy.
yeah, and he's just like standing in front of like a cave. And the part of me that's like, oh, I know what's in there. Is like maybe I should fight him. And then it's like red, and it's like, are you sure? And I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
no, I won't. I won't fight him.
Do you want to make a better decision?
And pretty much, like I'm clearly not thinking straight at this point in time. But yeah, I'm taking on some pretty massive JRPGs all at the same time. And then my casual nighttime game is JRPG too. So I have a problem, but I'm also practicing Smash for our big tournament in July, mainly because it seems to be a really popular game. A lot of people like playing it, and I love competing. You should have heard me last night when I was playing with all the guys. I just like yelling and cursing at people and telling them they suck, even though they were killing me.
Yeah. No,
But
no, that's
but
the usual response. So you're fine.
but I mean, they did show me how to actually like block and dodge and like actually show me some strategy for playing the game, at least against them. Uh,
Have
they
you done
turned
the
off all the.
frame talk?
No, I haven't hit frame talk.
It's it's horrible. It's where you get shown your frames, and you get broken down how you need to read frames. It's horribly humbling and degrading,
I
but it's good for your development. It's,
I just want to be developed enough to like embarrass Daryl or on a couple occasions because he would beat me pretty bad last night.
no, I wouldn't count on it. Wouldn't count on it.
Oh boy. But
Um,
yeah, that's about it for video games I'm actually playing. There's a lot I've thought about, because we were talking about the Dragon Quest announcements, and so it's made me kind of like want to go back and play a Dragon Quest. But I should have a limit on how many JRPGs are going concurrently,
yeah,
and I've also wanted to go back and play Horizon Zero Dawn again. Like all these
mm,
are thoughts in the back of my head because Forbidden West has been getting showed off, and I remember enjoying that quite a bit. Um, and I feel like I tend to with games that are like that are like these unique experiences to PS4 itself. I like to go back and play them when I can. I feel like Horizon Zero Dawn would be a good one because it's been so long that it'd be fresh. I still need to go back and play Spider-Man again, and I also will probably go back and play Ghost of Tsushima at some point because that game was so good.
wow. I think Ghost of Tsushima is the last thing holding me back from quitting on my PlayStation, and then I'll just pack it up. Or no, that's gonna play our DVDs. So I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. I'll probably move it to the bedroom.
It's just a really nice Blu-ray player at that point.
It is. I mean, I've got my PC now, so I don't. Well, I just want to keep my desk uncluttered. And I got my PC, my Switch, my Wii U, and I got
I
my
get that.
SNES Classic, and that I'm set. Really.
I get that because a lot of the games are coming out on PC now. Like one of the big reasons why I got a PS4 and I even had a PS3 before was just the really unique Japanese games, like Senran Kagura's and all these uniquely Japanese games. Like the Tales of series was primarily on PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Final Fantasies and all of that. But nowadays, it's all popping up on PC. Like all the games are available. Like all the weird Bandai Namco games, all the Final Fantasies, all the Tales of the Weiss series is on there. The Trails of Cold Steel is on there. I mean, come on, they have anime themed sales now. You can play Dragon Ball Dragon Ball Fighter Z, Guilty Gear. So it's not just like anime centric stuff. It's fighters, it's adventures, it's all of it, and it's really it's. I can see how somebody would be like, I'm good with the PC now.
Yeah, I don't even need to worry about my PlayStation. I can re-platinum all my Senran Kagura games again. So, what even do I need the PlayStation for anymore?
Yeah.
Let's see. So apart from that, a couple of news points I had anime wise. I can kind of rapid fire hit for you real quick.
Go for it.
I saw Neon Genesis Evangelion 3.0 and 1.0, some kind of new movie came out.
Yeah.
Opened in Japan, second highest grossing movie behind Demon Slayer, Mugen Train.
Yeah.
Thought that was pretty neat. Didn't know NGE was still making movies.
So that was the final movie that people were so pumped about, and it got delayed through 2020 because of COVID-19. So people were chomping at the bit to see this. This is Studio Khara's final movie. It's been like 4 years or something like that since the last one. It feels like it, anyways. Because the last one was like 3.33. You Are Not Alone or something like that. But yeah, this is the final film. This wraps up the whole refreshed Neon Genesis Evangelion movies, and I still want to watch those. Neon Genesis Evangelion is a polarizing series. It's one of the ones from my heyday, and after going back and watching it again, I don't really like it. Like I think what I really liked about it back in the day was the giant robot fights. Yeah. But now, and I was a teenager, and I was missing some of the nuances of like the character interactions and stuff like that. And after watching it again, I was like, it's okay. Some of the characters end up being nonsensical, unlikable, and you're just like, this is like
painful.
Just give me big giant robot fights. The weird lore is not really what I'm feeling about it. And I have that with certain Gundam series too. Like there's Gundam Wing is one of the ones that was another series that was in my heyday, and I went back and watched it, and I still think it's a decent show for the mech battles. But some of the like constant long-winded political machinations and like talk about pacifism and all this junk, it's really long. I'm like, skip.
Yeah, I got halfway through Wing and I got bored. Mm-hmm. Like I got to the big. They just framed the Wing boys for betraying the Federation or they just framed them for staging the attack or the big attack. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And then like the next episode or something, it was another thing of talking. And I was like, it just took forever to get to this point, man. I don't think I can keep doing this.
Yeah, they do Wing is basically an alternate timeline that does a lot of retelling of the Universal Century timeline stories. Because they do the Char's counterattack, trying to drop the colony on planet Earth. Mm-hmm. They do some stuff from like the original 0079. They do some stuff from Zeta. It's kind of wild, but I just feel like again, it's another one of those cases where a series is not very bingeable. Like when I used to watch Wing, a couple afternoons at a time, or if you were watching it 1 week at a time, I could see how you would be like, okay, okay, this is cool. more mech fights. I'm excited about that. But if you're watching like hour after hour of it, it can be like that. So
Yeah.
I think that's one of the reasons why I still try to watch shows slower. So I'll mix different things together. That's why I have 10 shows going at once, because even if you do have the ability to binge them, it still slows you down.
Yeah.
So okay, so speaking of Gundam, by the way, because I got a news bit on this, they are making a new Gundam Seed sequel film, if I recall correctly. It's going to be a sequel to Gundam Seed Destiny. So
that seems so random.
Yeah,
they're still working on Hathaway, Hathaway is about to premiere. Surely not too long from now. And I think I saw there was another project apart from Hathaway. Maybe that's what the Seed was, but I don't know. I don't know why they'd go back to Seed, but okay, yeah. I guess we could have had another Char, but
I mean, I agree. Honestly, Seed Destiny was not really that great to me. I liked Seed because it's a retelling of the original UC 0079 with kind of its own little spin and alternate timeline, but and that's a solid storyline. But Seed Destiny was, I don't know, I didn't care by the end of it.
God, you still need to watch Unicorn.
Yeah, I do.
So damn good. Next up, I had Netflix had. Oh, I spelled that all wrong, it was the Resident Evil Infinite Darkness trailer. It came out 2 weeks ago. They finally got their Japanese cast, which I thought was interesting. Netflix got their American side first, apart from their Japanese. Just thought that was kind of weird because Capcom's a Japanese company, I think. I thought they were.
Yes, they are.
I don't know. I thought that was odd. But
they can't do anything wrong right now. They made that Monster Hunter money, and they can just do whatever the hell they want.
Yeah, because I'm sure they're still feeling. They may be feeling themselves off RE8. They may. They may be doing good.
I mean, they're on the upswing right now. I mean, Monster Hunter World made them shit tons of money. Then they released it on PC and made more shit tons of money. And then they made a Nintendo exclusive version of it and made shit tons more money. And literally, like, Monster Hunter is printing money for them. And then you throw in the fact that, like, Resident Evil 7 was a really good release and it got a lot going for them. They had Devil May Cry 5 come out and that also got a lot of love.
They are doing really good. Yeah.
Yeah, Resident Evil 8 came out. Yeah, I mean, ever since they switched over to that new engine, and like I don't know what happened, but like it runs everything well, and everything they've created has pretty much been. I mean, even the remakes of like 2 and 3 were pretty well received. So now you can get them for pretty low price. I think I picked up the Resident Evil 2 remake for like $20. I got the Resident Evil 3 remake for like 16.
I'm still working on getting my collection back up. Ryori Kenshin has 2 number 1 spots at the Japanese box office. They had 2 movies coming. Movie.
Yep,
that was pretty neat. Apparently, that's not uncommon to just release 2 movies. They did that with like Death Note and something else. They put a part 1 and a part 2 out,
and
that was neat.
Have you seen the live action Rurouni Kenshin movies?
Nah.
So those movies right there are an exercise in how to make a good anime-based movie. They are really well done. They're really well acted. Like and the CG on it is actually pretty darn good for because I think Warner partnered with them. You can actually buy the Blu-rays of the first 3 movies like they're available in America, and they are great movies. And they do a good job of kind of like compressing the Rurouni Kenshin storyline into 3 little movies. It's really well done. I recommend at least one watch.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. My last thing, the Prince of Persia remake is not going to be shown at the Ubisoft event this weekend. It's still delayed indefinitely, so I'm going to go jump off my car or something, just because I'm sad.
You're like one of the few super fans of that series.
Yeah.
You are just you're holding on to that.
Someone has to.
I mean, I feel you. Like, what are we going to get? Another Assassin's Creed? Another, Ghost Recon? Another, all the things that they basically drop all their money into?
Actually, they are working on another Ghost Recon where they're bringing in Ghost Recon, Rainbow Six Siege, and Splinter Cell. I think they just announced that rumor today, or that rumor just broke ground. So that's the first thing that Sam Fisher is going to be in a while.
Wow.
Was that? But that's if that even becomes real. I don't know. I
I
feel like
mean,
Splinter Cell rumors have been around for a while, but
speaking of rumors that have been around for a while, the Switch Pro. Like, how much do you think that is actually going to happen?
I actually think it's gonna happen.
You think so?
Yeah.
I
I
just
I just wonder if they're gonna make it not dock or like not be able to leave the dock. Because like
mm,
I just don't see an OLED screen being portable and like or like you're not gonna be able to remove the Joy Cons. You're
hmm
not. I don't know. There's just too much risk with that.
Yeah, I could see them dropping the motion controls,
Yeah.
like, and just making it a solid unit, possibly to avoid the potential drift issues.
Yeah.
But
God,
like, because would that because and now I think about it, I mean, like, how many games really are using the motion controls at this point?
I can't imagine many. I think the last
Yeah,
one I used was Paper Mario: The Origami King,
yeah.
and I actually had to swing my remote around for that. But I don't
Oh
think
wow.
many are using that.
I know the new Mario Golf that's coming out this month is going to use it because
Okay.
it's golf, but still, like, the majority of games are not motion controlled. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case. I'm finding it hard to believe. Like it's very much a boy who cried wolf kind of syndrome going on for me. Like, I love the concept of a Switch Pro. I would love that. Especially because I like gaming in 4K. I like boosted power, so like the games that are like really nice and big that the Switch can't handle now can now play the way they're supposed to. But I mean, it came from Bloomberg, and Forbes has reported before on these rumors, and like it just ends up being nothing. And like what it feels like is just hype for hype's sake. And
Yeah.
if I have to be honest, I'm tired of hype. I'm just
Yeah.
like, I want to be happy about it, and maybe I just don't get hyped anymore. Like, it's always funny watching Daryl and his stream and like him getting excited about stuff like that is genuine excitement, and I'm just kind of like, oh, that's cool. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like such a bummer. Like, I bet if I was streaming and somebody was like, look, good news, I'd be like, awesome, good.
I probably wouldn't even be the same way. I'd be like, doubt it, and just just roll it. I'm just incredibly cynical though.
Oh,
But
absolutely.
it's I feel like the Switch Pro is just an easy fire to light just to get people circulating something.
I mean,
It's
you can see I can see some of the logic of it. There's lower Switch shipments, which is somewhat to do with the shortage of microchips. Maybe possibly because they're about to announce a new model.
yeah.
They're the headliners on one of the days of E3. And Nintendo has been doing their own thing for so long. It's kind of bizarre that they are like a headliner at E3.
Yeah.
They usually have their own directs. They don't really. They're like, okay, cool. They might show some stuff on the floor for the people who are there, but it's rare for them to be a headliner. So, I mean, if you're going to be a headliner, you better have a big announcement to make. So, I don't know if they're either going to show off the Switch Pro, Breath of the Wild 2. And somebody pointed out an important thing that I hadn't considered before. Usually, when Nintendo hardware launches with a Zelda game, it does well because
Yeah.
technically the original Switch launched with Breath of the Wild, and if they were going to launch the Switch Pro with Breath of the Wild 2, that would be beneficial. And they've been sitting on the Breath of the Wild 2 stuff for quite a while. So, like, it could be a big, huge double whammy sort of thing. But the part of me that hates to be disappointed just wants it to be like, nah, it ain't going to happen. So if it does, I can be like, yay. And if it doesn't, I'll be like, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
You don't have to have your heart broken.
I understand that. I just I just don't see it. Because the
Mhm.
last time we even heard something about Breath of the Wild 2, they said we are just now starting it or something. We just got the green light. And I
But
mean
I
they
mean, that
gave
was
us
like
that
2 years
teaser.
ago. That was
Well,
2 years
no,
ago.
that wasn't even that. That was like a direct ago.
Oh,
Like
that can't be true.
I'm
Like,
pr- I'm pretty
I'm
sure.
I'm opening a tab.
No, so we got that teaser with short-haired Zelda, and that was Breath of the Wild 2. But then, not even a couple months ago, I want to say, the main guy for Zelda came out. He said, "Hey, we're still working on Breath of the Wild 2. We don't have anything to show right now. But hey, check out Skyward Sword. I hope this fills the void. And that's what we got instead. Instead of a Minish Cap remake. A Minish Cap remake.
Look, I'm all on board for a Minish Cap remake, to be honest with you. Keep making old world Nintendo remakes on the Switch. I'm down for it. Like apparently Link's Awakening did so well, they were like, let's remake some random Pokemon game in the middle of all the generations.
Yeah.
I'm super pumped for it. It looks exactly like Link's Awakening's remake was done, but it was a weird choice. Is it because all the other ones have already been remade already?
Maybe.
Because is Pearl and Diamond like a generation that's like really popular? Do they have cool ideas? You're my local Pokemon expert, so
So Pearl and Diamond are the only ones that haven't been retapped for resources, but they did bring a whole lot to the plate.
Okay,
and it was just a really unique and wonderful season for the Pokemon games. Had a pretty vibrant world to be in. Neat gyms, lots of new Pokemon that tapped on old Pokemon to evolve. It was a really integrated Pokédex there. But it was just a nice world to be in, and there's tons of secrets, tons of stuff to do. You could stay investigating that world, and you probably wouldn't be done.
Yeah, I go ahead. I cut you off.
It had a good villain, the Team Galactic people that were trying to destroy the universe. Like it was good shit all throughout. Like it wasn't just I gotta flood the world. It was I'm trying to destroy the world completely and rip it apart or control the guy that can. And it just got way out of hand, and the just memorable things throughout all that.
What? These are the storylines of Pokemon games. I just completely missed all of this.
Yeah, it got way better. It just kept escalating. But we were talking about in our Discord the other day, in Black and White, that was probably the peak of villainy. He was a rival, I think, that turned into a villain, and he was really cool, but just everything else sucked. It was not a vibrant world. It was not a neat integrated Pokédex that blended with everything else. It felt wrong across the board. But I'm just a man, and that's my opinion.
No, well, I'm still interested in trying more Pokemon. I just gotta space them out because I can get really tired of them if I go too often. I'm definitely on board for Pearl and Diamond's remake, and I'm on board for more Nintendo remakes of solid games in that style of Link's Awakening. I mean, that's the thing. As long as they continue to choose good titles that have the kind of following that would make them a success, they're going to make money off of them. I mean, Link's Awakening is literally almost everybody I talk to one of their top 3 Legends of Zeldas, and then Pokemon is a no-brainer, but I'm trying to think what else they could remake in that style, and at the moment nothing's coming to me. But I'm gonna think of it. Damn it.
No, I can't think of anything else in that Game Boy style that would be better in a 3D. Because really, that was it. Zelda, Pokemon, and I mean Dragon Quest is potentially getting all the Octopath love.
No, that's true. Yeah, I bet they're still going to make another Octopath Traveler too. Yeah, so that's I don't know. Well, I guess we'll see. I'm excited for open world Pokemon adventure game. That's pretty nifty.
Yeah, that Arceus one looked really neat. That would be pretty good. I'm hoping it is. I kind of want to see more just to see what I'm getting into, but I'm excited for that.
Oh man, so that's a lot to cover. I mean, we still have some other things coming up in the future too. Like for instance, Comey Can't Communicate is getting animated in November.
Tabby was just asking me about that.
That's a series. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
So she orders stuff for her library, mangas and whatnot, and she sees what's popular, and she's like, "Hey, what about this one?" I'm like, "Steven talks about this one. That's popular. That one's getting animated." He told me that one may be a good one to look out for. It's neat whenever she asks me that, and I'm like, hey, I've heard about that one. Steven's told me.
Yep, it's so, and I can honestly say, Komi Can't Communicate would be a great choice for a library manga. The story is there, and there's like, it's interesting because it's more about people and the different people and how they have different quirks and how they interact with each other. And there's like a little bit of romance like that's kind of like hinted at, but it's not the main point of the series. Like one of the interesting things is like each chapter is just like fun little like cute things, funny things. I mean, because she has a communication disorder, there are some like chapters that there's no words. It's just like her reactions to things and stuff like that. And so it's really fun. But like every student basically has a name that's basically a pun on their weird quirk. Like there's the girl that has the middle schooler's disease, Naka Naka. There's a really creepy girl named Yamai Rin that has an obsession with Komi, and not like a cute like I really want to be close to you kind of way. Like I want to lick your feet kind of weird. There's actually a chapter where like she sees a rip in Komi's tights and gives her a replacement, and so she can steal the tights and she puts them over her head and runs to the hall with them. It's fucking hilarious.
Oh my god!
It is, and then there's like Ase-san who sweats a lot, which literally I think it's Ase. It literally is the Japanese word for sweat, and you get the Gyaru girl who does her makeup really bizarre, so everyone's scared of her. But then she's having trouble making friends, and so she ends up crying, and the makeup gets messed up. So she takes it off, and it turns out she looks great without makeup. Aww. And it's really cute, and it's about like as much as she has communication disorder and wants to make a bunch of friends, it shows other people with other personality quirks that make it challenging for them to make friends and how they all kind of figure things out together. It's really cute. It's really fun. There's also a character in there that is hilarious because it's the most popular character is named Najimi. And Najimi knows everyone and is friends with everyone and loud and obnoxious and troublemaking. And you don't know if it's a girl or a guy. And the character themselves literally doesn't ever reveal it, even though so many people ask him her, and they make it a joke throughout the whole thing because he gets asked out by a girl and he's like, oh no, I'm a girl, I don't do that. And then the guy asks her out and it's like, oh no, I'm a guy, why would you ask me out? So it's always played for jokes, and he is really funny. But I love that series. That series is fantastic and it deserves to get animated. It'll be interesting to see how they animate it because there's so many like silent storylines, but they just reached the climax of one of the plot lines in the manga recently. So I guess that's kind of like they did the climax and announced the anime. It's a whole thing, and I'm pretty pumped about that. My manga reading is off the charts these days. I think I'm reading close to about 40 series.
Jesus,
yeah,
I can't even read. So.
Yeah, well, in the Discord, I literally limited myself from dropping manga suggestions in the anime manga channel because I would just be like, just flooded.
I think you and Daryl and Will are our main readers in there. It's you guys holding it down.
Yeah, I find that I have a little bit. Whenever I have time, I can read a chapter of manga fairly quickly, so it allows me to keep up with series when I have my little tiny bits of time, because it's hard for me to find time always to like watch an hour of anime. So manga is definitely my saving grace because I can read a chapter in about like 2-3 minutes. So
yeah, I tried doing that with the Shonen Jump app, but I just never stuck with stuff. But it's hard to get me to stick. That's the hardest thing with reading. Because I try to read books too, and I just never stick with reading anything.
Yeah, I've recently gotten back into reading books, and it does take some adjustment. But I think it's because reading I can do in such small bursts that it's become a thing again. I'm currently reading the Mistborn trilogy. I'm reading the first book in the Mistborn trilogy, and I'm getting back into fantasy, and that's I'm getting used to the writing style and some of the descriptions, and because I'm used to reading manga and it's got pictures. And
I don't need a description. I can see the picture.
Yeah, and so getting used to reading books with descriptions and stuff again, it's not a bad experience for me. It's just unusual compared to what I've read primarily in the last few years. So
right.
Oh, wow, man, we covered a lot of stuff today.
We have. We've almost done an entire SpongeBob the movie times worth.
Wait, you know the length of the movie?
I know a lot of things, but I think this is probably going to be a good send-off point.
Absolutely.
I'm going to go tuck you into bed real quick. And
thank you. I appreciate it. I'm going to get cozy.
Yes, sir. But all right, man. I think this is a good returnal episode for us.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I think I'm excited for another round, and I'll see you next time, big fella.
All right, see you next time, man. Have a good night.
Yes, sir. And for everyone that wants to follow us, you can check us out on your, podcasting system of choice, whether it be Apple Podcast, Spotify, or Stitcher. You can follow us on our Twitter at Senpai Kouhai Podcast.com. Drop us a little review, say hi, see what we're playing, see what we're watching there, and we will see you next time. Bye.